A lot of information came out last week for Star Wars Battlefront 2. We have the events for November coming out, we have information on General Grievous, and we know now when Obi-Wan will be released. But there is a huge missed opportunity here for DICE, and while I tend not to go down the dark path too often, I have a feeling that today we're going to go that way a little bit. Welcome back, and for those of you who are regulars on this channel, you'll know that I try to keep things a little bit more positive here. While there are things that will anger me and will kind of annoy me in games, I usually don't make a video on it because, to be honest, being negative doesn't really do anything besides get you clicks. And since this isn't my life's work and not the way I pay the bills, I don't want to bring the negativity into my life if I don't need to. However, today we're going to talk about something that actually does annoy me a little bit, and that is the November events, along with what DICE has going on in the month of November. Many of you know that I'm very excited for Battlefield 5. I love the Battlefield series, and I'm definitely going to be playing Battlefield 5 when it comes out. And if you look in the month of November, Battlefield 5 will be coming out on November 20th, and if you have early access on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox or PC from the Deluxe Edition, that'll be available on the 15th. And then let's take a look at the Battlefront calendar for November. There are events lined up throughout the weekends, just like there were for October, which I was really excited about in October. If we look at November though, the things that I'm most interested in on this calendar don't happen until after Battlefield 5 becomes available for play on the 15th of November. So on the first weekend we have the Clone Era playlist. I don't care. I don't like the clone maps for the most part. Well, just one really, and there's not that many in the game to begin with, so there's no way that I'm going to play a map rotation that's going to give me a 1 in 3 chance of a map I don't enjoy playing, so I'm not really too excited for that. There's a fast respawn event in Blast and Strike, which I love Blast and love Strike, but I generally play Galactic Assault, so I'm not really too excited for that either, to be honest. Then we have the Heroes Unleashed event, which starts on the 16th, and I loved Heroes Unleashed. That is probably the most fun that I had in Battlefront for a long period of time, and honestly it's something that I would love to see more permanent going forward. Well, at least the ability to have all the heroes out, maybe not so much the cost. But anyway, that doesn't start until after access to Battlefield 5 begins. And then there's the Battle Point event for vehicles the next weekend after that, again after the official release of Battlefield 5. And then finally on the 28th is when we get Geonosis and Obi-Wan. And again, that's after Battlefield 5 releases. And that is where my main frustration comes from. DICE produces both games, Battlefield and Battlefront. They're in, I believe, the same office, or at least communicate with each other. They've got devs from both games working on Battlefield. So you would think that maybe one of them would speak up in a meeting and say, hey, since we're releasing Battlefield on the 20th of November, how about we put the content for the release of Battlefront at the front of November and front load the month, so that way we can keep players on our servers throughout the month of November, as opposed to them going and playing something else at the beginning of the month, like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2, and then coming back for Battlefield on the 20th, when we could keep them interested and in our games if we released Obi-Wan and Geonosis on the first weekend of November, which would have made them right after General Grievous, which would have just made the fans and people who play this game still go crazy, being that Grievous and Obi-Wan would only be a week apart from each other, and then also give a new map which brings a fresh take into Galactic Assault, which is honestly getting a little bit stale, and keep people playing Battlefront all the way until the 20th when Battlefield is released, and then they have a month to play Battlefield until Dooku comes out in January and Anakin in February. I just don't understand why they decided to release content that would get people to play Battlefront the same weekend or the same weeks that they're releasing a major title for EA and DICE. A flagship title like Battlefield is going to take away players from Battlefront. Even with the new heroes and new map, you have on one hand a whole game that's brand new and just released and everything is fresh, versus a game you've been playing for a year and just has one new map and one new hero. You know, the scale is going to weigh more favorably in the new game category than in the update category. Now, while I will hop on and play the new Geonosis, and I'll probably play a little bit during the Heroes Unleashed weekend, well, take that back. There's no way I'm going to be playing Battlefront during the Heroes Unleashed weekend. That is day 2 of having Battlefield, which I'm going to be going full on into leveling up in Battlefield and learning the maps and the tricks and the new mechanics in that game. It's also extremely unlikely I'll be playing during the Battlepoint vehicle event on the 23rd and 25th. Again, Battlefield is going to be pretty much an entire month of straight Battlefield playtime. Now, I will come back and play a little bit of Geonosis and play some Obi-Wan on the 28th, but to be honest, that might not be for more than just that one day, and then I'll go back to Battlefield for a pretty long stint, probably through the new year. And then, you know, at that point I'll decide which game is going to be primary, which game is going to be secondary, or if a game just gets dropped in general if it's not fun anymore compared to what I have available. I just don't understand why they don't look at their own calendar and say, hey, we're releasing 2 major things for 2 of our games on the same day or same weekend, and someone doesn't pipe up and go, hey, you know what might be a better idea? Offsetting those by a couple weeks. I just don't get that, and it blows my mind, and it baffles me on why they would do it like this. But what this does confirm is that we're not going to be getting Dooku or Anakin until the end of their respectful months as well, since DICE doesn't apparently release content early in the month and wait until the last day of the month to release it. So just keep that in mind when we start going into the new year. And I know this was short, but I had to just say something about what was frustrating me about this right now. I haven't really been playing a whole lot of Battlefront lately. I've been playing a little bit more Rainbow Six with Lap and some of my friends from that game. But I do look forward to General Grievous coming out tomorrow on the 30th. That is going to be super exciting. Even though it is just the one hero, it does give you something to work for and something to look forward to when you can get that hero. There are going to be some downsides. We are going to see a ton of people camping that score screen. So just be ready for that. Since there is only one hero available and only one person can play them at a time, you will see a large portion of random lobbies sitting on the score screen waiting for Grievous to become available. There does need to be something done to prevent that kind of thing from happening, like a timer between the time that you die and the timer that it forces you to respawn, so that way you don't have people just sitting there. But even then, you would have the people who would just constantly respawn themselves, I guess. Would be a way around that. DICE really does need to find a way, though, to fix that camping on the score screen, because it does kind of ruin the game, since it takes away the competition for at least one team, especially since there's no new hero on the light side. It's only going to be dark side teams camping that score screen. And as always, you can always expect a ton of bugs to be coming out with every patch that comes out for Battlefront. There hasn't been one that hasn't had a major glitch in it, so just be wary of that and aware of that. Hopefully Grievous won't be something that's affected by the bug that releases. Hopefully it's a new bug and not one that we've had in the past, because new is always exciting. But just expect that going into the game on the 30th. If there's not a bug, I will be shocked and super stoked about it. But I don't have my hopes up. And for those of you who are interested, the Cuddly Bunch t-shirts are now up on TeePublic. There will be a link in the description down below. And if you've made it this far, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We are going to be playing a lot of Battlefield when it comes out, so just be ready for that. And then also, the wife and I have been discussing possibly streaming board games, because we do like to play board games versus each other. I didn't know if you guys would be interested in that. Basically just be the wife and I talking while we play games, and hopefully that would be entertaining. I don't know, it's just something that kind of popped in my head the other night while we were playing. So I appreciate you guys' time. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in game.